Hi, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this week's lesson, we're back to the C6 lap steel, tuned C, E, G, A, C, E, from your lowest to your highest string. And this week, we're learning my arrangement of Amazing Grace for the C6 lap steel. And this one's a fun one. It's in the key of G, even though it's C6 tuning. So once again, we're in the key of G, G major, but we're still in C, E, G, A, C, E, or C6 tuning. Now this one's also fun because I've included a jam track that I made with Band in a Box that has kind of that gospel feel to it. So there's an organ, there's a piano, a guitar, drums, bass, and then your lap steel will play over top of that. So if you're ready, go ahead and print out your tablature and set it on a stand in front of you, and let's get going learning Amazing Grace on your C6 lap steel. Okay, so we're going to learn this phrase by phrase, and the first phrase will start right there on beat 3 of measure 1 for a little pickup right into measure 2. And let me just play it to show you what I'm going to be teaching you. So here's the first phrase. It'll basically cover measures 1, 2, and part of 3 of your tablature. We'll take it slow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So let's just learn that for right now. Sounds easy enough, right? But let's make sure we got the right technique and we really work on our tone and our intonation with that. Okay, so we start off right there on measure 1, beat 3. That kicks us off into the tune. So you count it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, and you're just going to slide from 6 to 7 on your 4th string, and then play 7th fret, 3rd string. Right into measure 2 for that G chord grab. Remember, we're in the key of G, and we're just grabbing a nice G chord there on my 5th, 4th, and 2nd string. You can roll it if you wanted to too, like that thumb index middle. Just make sure your bar is real straight. Or you can just pluck them all at the same time. Whichever way you want to do it. Now, once I hit that G chord, since it's sustaining for a while, it's ringing out, I like to put some nice vibrato on it. And I'm just going to move my bar back. Once I get it in tune, I'm going to move it back and then forward, but not a whole lot, just a real small amount. And I'm not going to do it real fast either, just kind of real slow and mellow. Get a nice vibrato going. And then we got... Okay, now for that one, right at the end of measure 2 there, I tilt my bar up so that I'm not going to hit all these other strings. And then with my middle finger on my 1st string, I'm just going to slide from 7 down to 5, and then hit 7 on my 2nd string. And I'm using my index finger there for that one. So we got... And then in measure 3, we're sliding into another G chord from 6 to 7 on my 4th, 2nd, and 1st string. And you can use that jam track. It's real slow, but use that to test your intonation too when you're practicing. Intonation being playing in tune. Make sure you're in tune with the jam track. But what you really want to focus on too is making sure you're straight with that fret. Try to keep your bar as straight as possible. Okay, then we move to some sort of a kind of a G7 chord to lead us into that 4 chord. Okay, so basically at the end of measure 3 there, I'm just grabbing with my index and middle finger my 2nd and 1st string on my 5th fret. And it still harmonizes the melody fine there. So we've got 2, 2. And then in measure 4, we move to our C chord, or our 4 chord of the key. Okay, and basically I'm just kind of sliding into these chords. So in measure 4, we're sliding on my 3rd and 2nd string with my index and middle finger. Okay, sliding in from 6 to 7. And then right there on beat 3 of measure 4, I tilt my bar up again so that I just get the tip of it, and I'm going to be sliding from 7 down to 6, just a slow slide, bringing me back into that G chord there in measure 5, there on my 7th fret on my 5th and 4th string. So let's stop there. That'll be a good phrase to work on there from measures 1 through the beginning of measure 5. Okay, so what you want to focus on is sometimes you don't want to always lift your bar up, right? Some of the smooth movement, like say from in measure 3 when you're sliding into that G chord on strings 4, 2, and 1, 6 to 7, and then you basically could leave your bar on the strings, sliding it down to fret 5 where you play that on your 2nd and 1st string. It'll smooth it out a little bit. And some of those single notes that I'm getting there where I tilt my bar up, that'll clean it up too, as far as keeping your ring and pinky back there. So when you're tilting your bar, your ring and pinky can mute out what you just played. And don't worry there at the beginning where you do that slide and then you grab strings 5, 4, and 2. Don't worry if that 3rd string's ringing out. It'll give you that C6 sound, you know. That real country or kind of Hawaiian twang to it. Like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next phrase.